Hi, I brought you here to sunny Dunkeld on a beautiful day, and we're going to talk about Enduro, and hopefully make it a little bit more accessible for you, because that's ultimately what we're all about. So, time to hit the hills, I think.
So we're on the route of the fantastic community-led Dunkeld Enduro. I've been climbing for about 20 minutes out of the start point for us today, and the top of that hill you can see there, that's the top of one of the stages that's sometimes used. So there's a fair bit of climbing, and today I'm only going to be looking at three legs, but most enduros have 4, normally 5 legs. Up this hill twice, and Newtile Hill twice as well, we've got that later on. So just to give you an idea of scale. A couple of notes about transitions, or the first transition especially. There's effectively 2 different types of enduro, roughly. So the first one is a single day one. So I've been talking about the Highland Perthshire Enduro. That's a single day one, so you're just riding everything blind. And the other one is, just looking ahead there, and the other one is a 2-day enduro, where you get a practice day beforehand, so you can go and check out the routes and get an idea of where you're going. So a lot of the 1-day ones will just have a start time and a finish time and waves of people going out. So it really doesn't matter how fast you go on your transition from each stage to the next. So those ones, just take it easy, especially the first one. It's effectively a warm-up, so just take it easy on the first one. Don't worry about people going past you, you've got plenty of time. As long as you don't waste time, then just make sure you're comfortable, because you don't want to be a spent force by the time you get to the top. And remember, and that's the key to all enduro racing, you're not finished until the end of the last leg. So you've got to keep something in reserve all the time. Now some of the 2-day ones will have a set time, and some of them are quite tight for the transitions. Got a bit of bumps there. So the transitions, what you need to do is on your first day out, on your practice day, time them and try and get a gauge of how much effort you put. But on the 1-day ones, just take it easy, have a nice time. When we're talking about liaisons, or the joining sections, routes in between, something we need to be kind of honest about, and that is, it's not always a joy going up the hills, and it's not always rideable. Sometimes the route from A to B that's been chosen by the event organiser is just an utter muddy slog up a steep hill. But the event is the downhill, so save yourself for them. Don't worry about pushing, there'll be plenty of other people pushing as well. So there's stage 1 behind me. We're actually going to be doing Pink Floyd as it goes through a wall, and that's where we're going to head off in a second. But a couple of things about setting off. So first of all, make sure you're ready, so get yourself a little checklist of things to do. So for me, I've make sure I've got my goggles on. They're over there, I will be checking those in a second. Make sure your seat's down if that's what you need, unless you obviously got to climb from the start. Make sure you're in a decent gear. You've probably just come up a really steep climb, so you're in a little tiny gear. Make sure your droppers down, make sure you haven't got anything locked out, forks and shocks, make sure they're not locked out. And then it's time to go and get in a queue and set off and dib in. So seats dropped, gears are changed, so I'm in a nice steady gear, middle of the range, goggles on, gloves on, ready to go. So that's the first stage. Really glad I had my goggles on for that one, that was really wet. But I'll give you an idea of a bit of a stage there. Yeah, it's a good 5 minutes or so. But again, you're just racing yourself, so you don't need to worry about just try and go for smooth. Don't try and go faster than everybody else. There should be gaps in between you. Sometimes it's 20 seconds, sometimes it's longer. It depends on who's behind you, so there should be a gap. So you get to the bottom, you've got to keep continually refueling. You're going to be full of adrenaline, you're just going to want to power on, but you've got to keep your fuel up. So get some water in, get some juice in if you've got it, and then get some food down here. Oh, you can hear the wind. So then we're on to the top of stage 2. A little bit more tired, but if we've been eating well and we've been drinking, taking it easy, we should be all right. We rest. Now this particular stage 2, well, as we're using it for stage 2, it's pretty windy and chilly right up the front, so actually it's worth taking a break a little bit back from the queue maybe, and just chilling out. But you can see, whoa, it's quite windy, and you can see bits of track zigzagging all over the place. Where does it go? Well, there's only one way to find out. Okay, stage 2. Completely change the surface. Raise off with the little drops there. Add the front out. Right that up. It's just going through. Into the stone. All over the ground. Add the next one. Break the wheel line. Here we go for the next one. Out there. Now we go for the next one. Right hander. The sharper stuff. More riding to do yet. Right high gear. There we go. Let's go. High lights when we can. Let's slide off those. We're still on the track. Okay, so it's only going to be a 3-stage run today, but yeah, we've done 2 stages. And you'll probably be able to tell that the riding was a bit smoother as well, and that's quite often the case. So the thing, you know, you are out for the day. So if your stage 1 wasn't that great, maybe it's just a bit of a shake-up stage for you, getting yourself ready to go. Stage 2 could well end up being a lot better. And if you don't get too nervous, don't get tied up in knots, then you can go for it and have a good one. Oh, that was much better. Now, bit of a ride to stage 3. So we're going to talk about the bike a little bit while we're on our way up to stage 3. So this is I love this bike. It's a 29er, like them or hate them, 160mm of travel. And I love it. It's great for this. So you don't have to have a massive bike. Yeah, it's a trail bike, but the big things that will make a big difference to you are some of these things I'm just going to point out now. So first of all, just going to wander around and just going to zoom in on the tyres. Okay, got a really aggressive front tyre, relatively low pressure. Okay, and that's digging into that dirt that we were on. Okay, so that's the first big thing. So you can stick that on a trail bike, whatever size wheel you got, and that'll make a big difference. In terms of the suspension, then obviously harder or softer can help with the trails. A bit skittery on stage 1 where it was really muddy because my suspension set fairly hard, but stage 2 with those rocks and stuff like that, and there are a few opportunities to pop, then actually it was quite good for that. So there's always a compromise. Going around to the back, my back tyre is pretty aggressive as well.
although commonly you'll find people with slightly less aggressive back tyres on the back. The more there is, more aggressive they are, the harder they are to get up the hills. But it's alright for today because we're only doing 3 stages, so it's alright. While we're on the back end, we'll just zoom into here and you might just be able to see my spare derailleur hanger taped to the inside of my seat stay just in case I need it. So that's hanging out there just in case I need it if I catch my rear derailleur. Okay, we have a dropper. Not essential but really useful. Next thing you'll notice there is a bit of a roll there. So what we've got in there, yes, I am running tubeless, but there's a tube in there. Okay, just in case I shred the tyre, I've got a tube in there that I can stick in there for a quick repair. And you'll see a bit of blue tape there that's holding together my tubeless repair kit. Right, so that's that there. In terms of keeping the weight off, I've got my water down there on the bike. Quality mucky nuts face fender, just something to keep some of the rubbish off. You'll see the amount of spray and mud and muck coming off stage 1. Okay, that just keeps some of it off your face. So that's a quick run through of the bike, some of the things you might want to think about. Oh, and just before I finish, just coming up to there and see if we can get the camera to zoom in on that bit. No, it's not going to do it. You can see the blue tape anyway. In the blue tape there is a spare magic link for my chain, so I'm carrying that there as well. So actually really all I need is a couple of tyre levers and a multi-tool. Before we hit the last stage, let's have a quick chat about queues. They're going to grow. Quite often the event will be done so your first stage is designed to stretch everybody out. There might be different times and you go off in blocks, and the idea is that you don't get queues, but invariably they happen. And what you need to be aware of is that you might be stuck in a queue waiting to do your stage for quite a long time, whatever the weather's doing. Okay, we're ready for our last stage today. Okay, stage 3. We'll dip, we'll go. So easing into it nice and gently. We've been on a big climb, quite tired. Done and done. Still panting. So that's the end of our stage 3, and you can see it was a little bit gnarly. Yeah, it was a little bit gnarly. There was a bit of rock in there, some twists, some fairly steep stuff. We're trying to keep off the brakes, and if you could have seen my hands in the film, you'd have seen quite a lot of the time I was just easing off on the front brake there to keep that front wheel rolling, and using the back just to kind of try to keep control. Ooh, slightly out of breath. And made it to the bottom. So if you found that at all useful, well, that's great, that's what it was for. And if you really enjoyed it, then please give us a like, subscribe to the channel. We're going to get more short videos on skill stuff on there as well. And fundamentally, if you want to get out and about in the hills in Scotland and get up high on your bike and ride some amazing trails and wonderful scenery, then get in touch with Real World Riding, because we can definitely help you with that. Thanks very much for watching. See you on the trails.